ISIL is not going to pose an existential threat to us. The American people should feel confident that, we have a good holiday season.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. KFI, AM640, more stimulating talk. Bryan Suits here in the dark secret place until midnight, live on KFI, AM640. And boy, do we have something to talk about tonight, don't we? So that happened. Let me just start with that. We'll get into some of the details from Wednesday at San Bernardino, right through yesterday, when evidently the FBI collectively shoved its federal head up its federal ass and allowed CNN and CNBC and everyone else to, pollute a crime scene. At the same time, in the Boston Marathon investigation, the Tsarnaev's apartments were in plastic bags, and you couldn't get within a block. Yet CNN and CNBC had people walking through a crime scene yesterday. So never mind that. We'll get to that. Let me just start with this, because we're not a national radio station. We're a local radio station. KFI, K-Farm Information, been here since the 20s. The transmitter's never left the location there at Mira Loma. It's even an old Art Deco font and everything. Been here forever. As Los Angeles as the Dodgers. Let me just give some advice to the recent immigrant group, effectively, basically, practically called Muslim immigrants, whether you come from Pakistan or Morocco, Persia or Malaysia. Tip number one, shut up. Just shut up. After that, on Wednesday, just shut up. Express outrage. Promise to bury them in pigskins. But do not use the microphone or your lawyers, and we'll get to them, to lecture Southern California about what we owe you. Just shut up. You came here. Remember, you came here. You came to my country, and you've prospered. No one locked you up in internment camps. No one took your property away. You have prospered. So when something like this happens, just shut up. Stop telling me that it's not Islamic. Stop telling me it's a religion of peace. Don't lecture me. Lecture your piece of feces sons and daughter-in-laws that are doing this. Don't lecture me. I'm not Muslim. I couldn't care less how you bark at the moon or what fictional friend you pray to 5 times a day. Couldn't care less. Lecture your sons, okay, before they do that. You want to be Americans? Act like Americans. You know what Americans do? They act like Americans. You know how Ted Kaczynski was given up to the FBI? His brother called the FBI. His brother. And he said, I'm afraid that manifesto was written by my older brother, and it breaks my heart, but he is the Unabomber. Okay, the Poles were fully assimilated. No one feared Polish backlash. The brother of Ted Kaczynski didn't come up and lecture people about Roman Catholicism and about backlash of the Polish community or any of that balloon juice that you guys seem to have a muscle memory, a reflex since 9/11. When you F up, you got to own it. And don't lecture me that it's a religion of peace, because you know what? They didn't think so. You might think it is. The majority of Muslims think it is. You know why this is a bee in my particular bonnet? Because I've got 4 close friends who were translators of mine in Iraq who were wounded multiple times over 8 years. I owe my life to one of them. They're all here right now. One of them became a citizen 3 weeks ago. You and your attitude, you're making it virtually impossible for these patriotic Americans who actually put their bodies in line for a country that they'd never set foot in. You're making it hard for them. So when your first reflex is to tell me what to think, And your running dogs, your friends in the media that run to a mosque and start writing these stories about backlash, etc. You know what your reaction should be? Number one, it should be to shut up. But when the LA Times calls and says, we'd like to talk to you on background about Muslim backlash, you know what you should say? Why don't you come down here and I want to tell you how great America is. I need you to come down here so that we can sing God Bless America to the LA Times. I would like to go on KFI with the entire Farouk family and have them recite the Pledge of Allegiance and then promise the Southern California community that they will bury these two in pigskins. If what they did was not Islamic, then don't give them an Islamic burial. Don't give them what they think they're going to get. And by the way, even if it was workplace violence, same thing, all right? It's just violence, right? It's not Islamic. Stop with the lectures. Stop it. And then thing two, be real careful about your comparisons to Japanese Americans. That is an astounding insult. And what it does is it reveals that you don't know a lot about this country that you've adopted, that you came to. And then you had kids in this country. Okay, the Japanese had done nothing. There was not a single act of sabotage. There was no Major Hassan, Japanese American. There was no Syed Farouk, Japanese American. There was nothing like that. The Japanese had done nothing. And they had everything taken away from them, and they were put in camps for the duration of the war. You know what they did? They didn't lecture America about what we owed them, and they didn't whine and bleat and caterwaul about backlash. They told their sons to join the army, go to Europe, kill Germans, come back with medals. So that's what they did. You can talk to the senators I grew up with in Hawaii, growing up in Hawaii. They earned their place back in American society with blood, with honor. The Japanese didn't complain to the country and say, you took our property. We're afraid of the backlash. You don't know anything about us. They shut up and they became Americans, more American than most Americans, because the 442nd Regimental Combat Team became the most decorated U.S. Army unit in U.S. Army history. So if you're going to compare yourselves to them, and not one of you has been rounded up or your property taken away, unless your name is Tsarnaev or Hassan, then don't stain that memory. Here's another thing not to do. Don't tell me that 14 people died in car accidents on Wednesday or 14 people died in a bus accident. In this climate, in this country right now, the reason this has a greater impact than 14 people choking on a frickin' cocktail onion is because the President of the United States, Barack Obama, doesn't contemplate in front of cameras taking my rights away when 14 people slip on a banana peel. But when your son, when one of you used his rights as an American citizen to arm himself, when he used the Constitution so that he could kill us, you better own that, because the blowback in this country with this president and this state of all states has an impact on me. So bury them in pigskin, and then we'll talk. Sing the national anthem a cappella on Monday, and we'll talk. Show me that you're an American. Show me that you're like Ted Kaczynski's brother, not like his PR agent. And finally, if the feds are being run by the PC police and they're afraid to say Muslim terrorism, if the local authorities or the state of California people are more afraid of Muslim backlash, I have a piece of information for them and for you, that the average FBI agent has never left the country. He's never gone to war. The average state of California, the Kamala Harris Office of the Attorney General person has not done that either. They haven't interacted with the Middle East or your culture. There's a generation of us who have. There's a lot of us who have. We've seen some really horrible things. I'm deaf and I'm 40% disabled because of people who yelled Allahu Akbar right before they blew up. They didn't yell, "Go Seahawks." They didn't say, "I hate Mondays." So there's a generation of people like me who know very much all about the religion of peace. And We're not going to let that happen in our country. The things that we saw, I will go to jail before that happens to my daughter. Do I really care what Jackie Lacey does to me? Do I care what Kamala Harris says? Do I care what Dianne Feinstein says? If it's between me and my daughter being blown up, you lose. She's not going to be blown up. I will go to jail. And I suspect that there's a generation of warriors who have been exactly where I've been, who feel exactly the same way. If I were you, let me wrap this up, Southern California Muslim community, and yes, you are all being lumped together. If I were you, I would fire CAIR, these two mouthpiece attorneys at the Center for American Islamic Relations that you hired on your behalf. I would fire them. I would bury these two in a pigskin, and I would reach out to people like me and explain why I'm supposed to think you're an American. And it's not just because your passport says so. Ted Kaczynski's brother, his brother, called the FBI, gave up his brother. And Ted Kaczynski's in jail forever. Lucky he didn't get the death penalty. His brother didn't care because his brother was an American before he was a Kaczynski. We'll be back right after this. Tom Bigley, former Delta Force operator, will join us. It's the Dark Secret Place. Bryan Suits here.